Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne's Sharp World, where today we have another episode brought to you guys by Blade Ops. Be sure to look them up for all of your knife and EDC needs. And today, we're not just talking 1 or 2 or 3 knives. Today, we're talking 12 knives, all from one brand, kind of just diving into this brand and taking a look at some of their better offerings, and some that really grab my eye and attention, and some that have really surprised me. And why I haven't featured this brand more on my channel, I really don't know, because I hear a lot from you guys about, let's see more of this brand, let's see more of that model and this model. We like this brand, we never see it on your channel. Well, today's your day, and that brand is Kershaw. Yeah, for some reason, beyond me, I have no idea how we've gotten to this point, but I really just haven't featured any Kershaws on my channel. And the more I thought about it, I couldn't figure it out. There's a lot of American-made offerings, good-looking designs, and I've actually owned a lot of Kershaws. Back in my earlier knife using, collecting days when I was first getting into it, Kershaw was pretty affordable. So yeah, don't know how we got that, but we're here, and now we're going to make up for lost time and take a look at 12 Kershaw models, all of which I really enjoy. Now, they're not all perfect. We'll go over a few flaws here and there, but there's a lot more highlights than flaws. I will definitely say that. And I've got to say, this is a company that has a very, very strong American-made offering and really a great selection. So we're going to start off with 4 knives that I think, to me, are kind of like the Kershaw classics. They are some of the first Kershaws you should probably be taking a look at if you want to get a really nice American-made Kershaw knife. And we're going to go one at a time, and we're going to start off with this guy right here, which was actually one of my first knife purchases as well. And this is the Kershaw Leak. Now, what we have here, just a real brief little kind of a spec overview. For this model here, we're looking at $63, 14C, 28N steel, a blade length of 3 inches, and overall length of 7 inches. So one of the things that you're going to come across on a lot of Kershaws is this right here. They're speed safe. I think it's, yeah, speed safe. That's their own assisted opening, and it does work really well. The blades fly out. I will say this is the best way to describe Kershaw's assisted opening. Is they're kind of like the Pro-Tech of assisted opening knives. By saying that, I mean, I personally think they make the best assisted opening knives. So in that aspect, they're really, really good. The problem with assisted opening knives is I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily like assisted opening knives. And, I think maybe it gets related to gas station quality. This is far from gas station quality, guys. This knife here is made in America. These first 4 knives you're going to see here are all made in America. And as a matter of fact, 8 out of the 12 knives you're going to see in this video are made in America. So a lot of American-made quality. They're not cheap. You're getting a lot of value, and you're getting great knives. It just comes down to whether or not it's the knife for you. And I think that's what a lot of people are faced with. And for me, at one point in my life, this was the knife for me. I carried a Kershaw Leak for over a year before I really started buying a lot of knives and getting really crazy into it. This was my EDC, a true EDC. A lot of you guys are probably saying, what? Wayne carried one knife for a year? Yeah, it was the only one I had, basically. I mean, I had another CRKT, but it was basically just my CRKT and my Kershaw. So yeah, this is a true EDC quality, a great knife, and it is a knife that is really good for EDC. It's got that slender little kind of Warncliffe style blade. Very nice aesthetics to it, in my opinion. I've never been a huge fan of just the random Kershaw logo down here, but that kind of is what it is. A clip that is nothing special, but it works. I would obviously move that down here and carry it tip up, and I just never really use this. This is kind of like a little safety that you can use on the blade, so mainly for when it's closed. So if you just close this here, then you don't have to worry about it opening in your pocket. But with that being said, I would never worry about this knife opening in my pocket because the actual flipping mechanism is very minimal, and it takes a good amount of push to kick that blade out, but it's also very easy and very comfortable, and it is a very smooth assisted opening knife. So the Leak is definitely one I'd recommend. Like I said, I bought it for myself, and yeah, I do still like it. I'm just at a point in my life to where I don't know how much I love assisted opening knives. I don't hate them as much as I used to, and I honestly forgot how good a Kershaw assisted opening knife is. They are the best when it comes to assisted opening knives. Just the balance of the knife and the way the mechanism fires out, it does work really well. So that's the first one, the Kershaw Leak. It really is a good option, especially if you know someone who likes assisted opening knives. It's got good quality, good aesthetics, good a lot of stuff for 63 bucks. Really hard to go wrong here for 63 bucks. That's the Kershaw Leak. Next up here, we have another one. This is not to be confused with the Leak, but this is the Link. L-I-N-K, Link. And this is another American-made knife. And you see that right there? You see that blade steel? 20 CV, CPM, 20 CV steel on this. 3.25 inches of it in terms of a blade length, and an overall length of 7.6 inches. And the price on this guy, 93 bucks. $93 for an American-made knife with 20 CV. That's really, really good. And another thing that I really like about Kershaw's lineup in general is they put nice, they add nice, I don't know if texture or design is probably more the word, a nice design on the handles. It's kind of a tactical, like new age look. It just looks good. I really like this shade of like olive / OD, probably more of an olive green or OD green, whatever you want to consider that. But it looks really good, a really nice stonewash on the blade. And again, this is an assisted opening knife. Now, one thing that I do like about Kershaw's assisted opening knives is this right here. So the knife is open and it's not fully assisted the entire way. So when you go to close it, you break the liner lock, you push the blade halfway in, and then at this point, it's not going to fling back, and you can close it with your thumb. That's actually really nice. Or you could also just close it with your index, and then your thumb, do whatever you're more comfortable with. There's a little resistance where there is resistance about halfway down into the closed position, and then you can just pull it in. So it's really not hard to close. It's 100% a one-handed closing knife. And it's just an excellent blade shape with solid ergos, a deep carry clip that can truly be deep carry. The screws won't get in your way. Yeah, there's a lot of good things about this knife, and it's American made. So I actually forgot how good the Link was. I know the Leak was my first Kershaw. This is, I like this more than the Leak, in just for a daily use. A little more robust feel in hand, and definitely a better blade with CPM 20 CV. Again, under 100 bucks at $93. You really can't go wrong with this guy right here, the Kershaw Link. And if you guys have any extra questions about these, I'm trying to kind of going through them faster since I have 12. If you have any more questions, always drop them in the comments and I'll always get back to you. But yeah, so there's those two. And now we're moving on to what might be my favorite offering from this grouping here of the classics. And this is the Dividend. And this guy here is really, really cool, very different. For $96 here, what you get is a double steel blade. As you can see, this is kind of like a forged in blade here, or a welded connected blade, however you want to call that, of N690 up here and CPM D2 down here at the bottom. So that CPM D2 is going to give you really good edge retention. And again, it's not your Chinese D2. And the way they have this put together here is really, really cool. Kind of reminds me of, for some reason, it kind of reminds me of like a World War II fighter jet with the teeth or something. It's really badass. And it's kind of like a goldish, brassish looking material there. I don't know if that's just something I think that is an actual material that's bonded the two steels together. Not super knowledgeable of how this was done, but what I can tell you is this is a very thin stock, a super slicey blade, and just more good handle design and feel in hand is very nice. This is a very, very, very capable true EDC blade with a 3-inch blade, 7.25-inch overall length, and really just a light EDC. I don't have the weight on me right now, but this is definitely in the low 2 ounces. I would say this is 2.2 to 2.4 ounces, maybe 2.5 ounces at the most. So it's a nice light knife. And again, just kind of that halfway close, bring it down with your thumb, you're good to go. And because this blade is so thin, the flipping action, even though it's assisted, is very, very good. And I will say in terms of an assisted opening knife, it's very satisfying. And there's a couple other knives that are extremely satisfying to deploy on this list, and we'll touch on all those. This one is just really is a great knife, and one that I would even consider buying, having this in hand. Now, I think this would be a great EDC for me. Really like the looks of it. And again, I can't remember if I said this again, but it is American made. You always see that American flag on the American made models. So really like that. Another very strong offering from Kershaw, the Dividend, at 96 bucks. And last up on this group of classics is a Kershaw that I've always wanted, but never was able to own. And this one here is the Kershaw Blur. Now, this is a bigger knife with a fuller handle, and it has this grip tape in the inlays, kind of like the Microtech SOCOM Elite. It's very, very similar, if not the exact same stuff, to be honest. It very well could be the exact same stuff. It feels just like it, but feels really good in hand. And what you have here is 3.4 inches of S30V, an overall length of 7.9 inches, and a price coming in at $100 bucks. $100 for this guy. And again, American made. Very good American made quality too. And this is another one. It's just super easy to close. I will say, I'm going to say it again. I'll try not to say it again after this, but in case you're skipping around through the video, Kershaw has perfected the assisted opening. Whether you like it or not is up for, your own opinion, but I don't think there's any denying that, at least in my opinion, Kershaw is the company to beat for assisted opening. Very smooth, not too jerky and snappy, and very nice thumb studs on this model. Especially with the assisted opening, you don't need full rounded thumb studs, so it's just very, very easy to keep a good grip in hand and just pop that blade out. Really, really nice. This is another one that's pretty satisfying to open, and you can also reverse flick this with the studs, which I really like. Makes it little extra fidget factor to use the middle finger instead of the thumb. But again, just a nice, good sized blade, capable of putting in good work, and feels great in hand. A lot of good jimping, a lot of good texture all over the handle. Another great true EDC knife that I really, really like from Kershaw, and that's the Blur. Now, next up, we're going to dip into 4 Chinese-made models that really, I have never handled. Okay, so the first 3 I've never handled. The 4th one I own, actually. But these 3 I'm about to show you really did surprise me, all kind of in their own ways. First one up here is the Highball XL. Now, this is one of the few Kershaws out right now that is not assisted. This is completely running on bearings and very, very smooth. I was very impressed with this guy. The fuller is great. The edge is slicey. You got D2 steel, so the steel is nothing super special. It is Chinese D2. It's not CPM D2, but it's only coming in at 59 bucks. So again, 59 bucks. If the knife's good enough, I'm still a buyer at 59 bucks, but 60 is really kind of where I draw the line with Chinese D2. Just me, personal opinion here. But this is just falling under that, and it is worth considering. Very nice 3.3 inch blade here with a 7.5 inch overall length. And again, really, really good, smooth action. Nice centering on the blade there. Well, pretty good centering. Slightly favoring the show side, and really, yeah, I think if you just tightened up the pivot a little, that would straighten it up. So might have a slightly loose pivot, but very, very nice on the middle finger flick. And then you can also just do the nice slow roll to bust it out. And I think, let's see here, I think you can do a thumb flick. People that are more, like I said, I'm not really into thumb flicking fullers, so it can probably be done. But yeah, it can be done. It's just not my thing. I'm a middle finger flicker. That's how I deploy my fullers. But this is just a great looking knife. Great looking knife. A lot of neutral color there in the gray. The one thing I don't like about this knife is you got D2 and it's a bead blasted blade. Companies, not just Kershaw, all companies out there, stop bead blasting D2. Let me say it again. Stop bead blasting not only D2, but all of the non-stainless and semi-stainless steels out there. Stop doing it. It's stupid. Just give it a good stone wash or coat it or something, but don't bead blast a semi-stainless or non-stainless steel because you're going to get corrosion. But outside of that, it is a good looking knife with great action, very nice ergos, and it's a good knife. So for 59 bucks, it's definitely worth considering. And I would like to see more non-assisted knives from Kershaw because they really did a fantastic job with this one. And it is one that I do enjoy. And for someone that's just getting into knives, I would definitely recommend checking this one out because it is just good quality, and it can also help you kind of check out the fuller and middle finger flicking in certain aspects of a knife that beginners into the knife community and EDC world would probably enjoy with this. The Kershaw Highball XL. Next one here. This one really kind of threw me for a loop. This was one that I really enjoyed. And I remember when this guy dropped. This is the Kershaw Turismo. And I remember when it came out, I was like, oh, I'm going to buy it. It looks awesome. I really love the design of this, but it was assisted. And I was kind of past that assisted phase. But now, actually having this in hand, again, quarter close, thumb, there's something very satisfying about middle finger flicking an assisted knife. And there's not many you can do that with a blade cutout, to just be able to pop that out. That's fun, and it is satisfying, and there's a fidgety element to it that it's kind of hard to describe, but very enjoyable. And you also have just a very nice, sleek look here. What you have overall is a blade length of 2.9 inches, an overall length of 6.75 inches, and 50 bucks. 50 bucks for this. So again, 50 bucks for D2? Yeah, I would consider that. I would definitely consider this at 50 bucks for D2. Great design, looks amazing. That is one thing I can definitely say for Kershaw is, so this little symbol right here, that means it's an in-house design. And I gotta say, Kershaw has a lot of great designs. In terms of the overall execution and what they do to the design, in terms of like whether or not they make it assisted and all that stuff, I may or may not agree with. But in terms of just the actual designs that Kershaws turn out, they really do have a lot of great designs. They really do. And this is one that I really enjoy. Again, a lot of your Kershaws, if not all of them, are going to be left or right-hand carries, so lefties are going to love it. This is a very solid offering and a very, very attractive design in my opinion, and so good to middle finger flick, the Kershaw Turismo. Now, next up here is a Kershaw that has a significant little flaw to it, but it also has a real highlight. This is the Kershaw Atmos. And now this is a Dmitry Sinkovich design, which, as you know, he's designed for ZT. At least 2 or at least 3 knives that I can think of he's designed for ZT. I think more than that. I think he probably has 4 or 5 with ZT. HCR 13 MOV steel, so nothing too special there. But again, only 40 bucks for this. 40 bucks for a Dmitry Sinkovich design with solid G10 handles and kind of like some carbon fiber laminate inlays. So, it kind of has that kind of like that fake premium look, but it's definitely no gas station look. I mean, this is, again, not assisted, running on bearings, and this flipping action is fantastic. I mean, fantastic. Detent is damn near perfect. And this knife in general, very, very light again as well. I can't remember exactly the weight on this, but again, it's in the low 2 ounces. I would say 2.2 to 2.4 ounces again on this. Very light knife, nice deep carry knife, basically almost ultra deep carry, if not fully true deep carry. So a nice clip there. There's a lot of nice things about this knife for 40 bucks. It's packing a lot, but there is a flaw. This right here, this pathetic attempt at a plunge grind, not good. They didn't finish this year, so it's kind of got a little dull spot. But that's one of the issues you'll have with some certain types of Chinese production. I mean, that's just going to happen sometimes. The quality is not the same as U.S. production in certain manufacturing facilities, which is obviously the case here. But this is what I'll say for that. I've also seen other pictures of this knife to where it didn't have that. That wasn't an issue. So this is not going to be the case on every Kershaw Atmos you buy. This is just kind of one that got past QC. And again, if you know how to sharpen, you can fix that. You're still going to have a smile because the plunge grind is not thin at all. But again, it's something that can be fixed. It's not the end of the world. And on a $40 knife, you still don't really want to see it because there's a lot of really good high quality $40 knives out there coming from other Chinese manufacturing facilities. But overall, in terms of aesthetics, size, price, action, again, I'm gonna stress this. Phenomenal flipping action. There's a lot of good things going on for this knife. So if you can look past that for 40 bucks, again, it's really not a bad offering at all. It's a pretty solid little knife. And if it wouldn't have had that little grinding issue, I'd kind of be ranting and raving about this one as well, because I do love a good Dmitry Sinkovich design, and you definitely have that here with the Atmos. Very, very nice little offering. Now, the last one of the Chinese-produced models is one that I own, and it is my most ever carried knife, and it's in my hand right here. And what we have is the keychain knife designed by Rick Hinderer. This is the Kershaw Cinder. Now, just take a look, or just open your ears up here for the price on this little guy. For a 1.4-inch blade with a 4-inch overall length and a bottle opener, coming in at less than an ounce, at 0.9 ounces, you pay a whopping 14 bucks for this knife. Now, again, it shouldn't be that expensive. It shouldn't be that expensive it shouldn't be like 25 or 30 bucks. 14 bucks is an excellent price for this knife. I gotta say, I've gotten my money's worth on this knife time and time again. And I actually got this knife for free during a promo. I probably would have never bought it, and I'm really, really glad I did get it because it is super handy. Ergos are great. The way it's designed is even if your keys are hanging, your keys kind of act as a lanyard. So it feels great in hand. Stupid thin behind the edge. We're talking like 9 or 10 thousandths behind the edge. So it's a little scalpel. Now the blade material is 3CR13. Yes, 3CR13. So low-end steel. It's not supposed to hold an edge for a long time, not supposed to be super strong, not supposed to be anything other than cut things for a while. And it does. And to be honest, it's actually really easy to sharpen. I kind of have a special relationship with this knife because this was the first knife I ever freehand sharpened, as to where I used stones and I sharpened it on stones by myself. And I gotta say, it's not the most even grind, but you know what? It's still pretty slicey and it still cuts very, very well. So for 14 bucks, this is an excellent knife, and this is a phenomenal stocking stuffer. This is the best keychain knife I've ever come across because I've used this end just as much as this end. So there's a lot of value in this little guy for 14 bucks. It really is an excellent knife. It's one I would recommend all day, every day, and it's one that I would buy for gifts because I really do like it a whole lot, the Kershaw Cinder. So now we're exiting the Chinese world of manufactured knives for Kershaw, and we're hopping back into the American-made side and taking a look at some automatics. And what would this Kershaw dive be without taking a look at the Launch Series? Because if you guys don't know, the Kershaw Launch Series is their line of automatic knives. There's a couple of things that go on with the Kershaw Launch Series. There's some similarities. One, they're all made in America. Two, they all use CPM 154 steel. And three, they're all super snappy. And I mean ProTech level snappy. And I'm not just saying that. Kershaw is extremely underrated for their automatic knives. This is the first one. This is the one that started it all, the Launch one. And it's still arguably my favorite one. I would struggle to definitively say it's my favorite, but it's definitely in the top three. Easily in my top three favorites of the Launch series because it's just a nice size blade, very hand-filling ergos, nice and smooth, and it just looks great. And what you have here is 3.37 inches of blade length with an 8-inch overall length and a price of 120 bucks. For 120 bucks, American made, CPM 154. Yeah, that's a yes for me all day. It really is. And the action on this guy fires out. Excellent, snappy action, especially for a bigger knife. This is great. It got the series off to a fantastic start, and it only stayed as good as this. It didn't get worse. It did get better. It definitely got better at a couple points. But this is still, to me, this is a highlight of this series. And it's a knife that I still, every once in a while, I put it in my cart. Because I get tired every once in a while. I was like, I don't need another ProTech. Let's look at the launch series. And this is one that I've considered buying a few times, along with a couple other ones you're going to see on this list. But this is a great one. If you want to get someone a good American-made automatic that's not a ProTech, maybe you don't want to, you can definitely spend less by getting this compared to ProTech. And theoretically, you're getting slightly better steel. I know all that comes down to the heat treat, so that's for another day to debate. But just from a spec standpoint, CPM 154 is basically 154 CM, only the powder metallurgy version, which is supposed to be better. And I think everyone will agree it is. So technically, you're getting a slightly better steel than ProTech. It all comes down to the heat treat, I know, but just name to name. Great offering, great knife, great feel in the hand. The Kershaw Launch 1. Now, the next launch we have here, we're going to the smaller side of things, and we're going to hop on this guy right here. This is the Kershaw Launch 9. And you just have a very nice little California legal auto here. I'm not a lawyer, so don't hold me to that. Look up your own knife laws, but I'm very, very confident this is California legal because what we have here is a 1.8-inch blade with, of course, CPM 154 steel, 5 inches overall length, and it's very, very similar to the ProTech Sprint. A little longer, but snaps absolutely every bit as hard as the Sprint. These smaller launch ones, first of all, they have a really great handle to hold on to. So when you're holding on to this knife, you have like no worry of it coming out of your hand. There's a nice deep carry clip to put a finger on, and it just rockets out. So a great little, very useful, versatile blade, great steel, American made, amazing snappy action. Just a great little knife. Another very powerful little snappy auto, the Kershaw Launch 9. Now we're going to stay on the small side, and we're going to take a look here at the one that is a little more out there in terms of aesthetics. It's very aggressive looking, kind of badass blade. And this is the Kershaw Launch 10 with a little hawkbill blade. Now this guy right here, you're looking at just a slightly bigger blade length with 1.9 inches, 5.2 inch overall length, and $100. $100 for this guy. I can't remember if I said it, but this guy right here was $100 as well. So $100, pick your poison. There's some size comparisons, very, very close in length. And yeah, what this is made for right here is the ergos on this knife are excellent. And I mean excellent. Your thumb belongs here. It's a 3-finger, it's a comfy 3-finger wrap. It's great. And if you want to really choke up, you can even kind of do this number here, and it is made to open boxes, to just slit those sides open. It is an excellent little automatic knife. Again, $100 American made. You can't go wrong with it. Nice deep carry clip. Incredible aesthetics. I love the design on this. I really do. And again, the firing power snaps out with authority. Just another excellent little addition to the Kershaw Launch series, the Launch 10. Now, the last knife in this series we're diving into is arguably my favorite. This is tied. This is right there with the Launch 1 for my favorite of the Launch series. And this is the Launch 11. This one here, I think, is right up everybody's alley. It's that nice little, not little, but kind of like medium size blade. We're looking at 2.7 inches blade length with 6.75 overall length and a weight of 2.1 ounces for this guy. Super solid knife for 2.1 ounces. That's just fantastic. And what's also fantastic is the price, because it's $110. Now, this one here, I will say, this still snaps out very well, but it's kind of more of like I wouldn't call it soft, but it's a little more of a restrained snap, a little more restrained deployment. You don't have to worry about it flying out of your hands, but still very nice. Yeah, I would call it satisfying action. Easy button access. Another nice design. The only thing about this knife, I personally, and this is a very personal thing, I just don't exactly love holes in my handles. I kind of like those not there. So I would definitely prefer this without the hole. But that's the only thing I have to knock on this. I mean, it's a great price, phenomenal action. All these autos from Kershaw are really great. I would recommend them to anyone, especially if maybe you want to get someone a really nice American-made automatic knife, but you don't quite have the money to buy a ProTech, or you're really pinching pennies trying to get the most bang for your buck. Look no further than the Kershaw Launch series. It really is a great series. There's a lot more offerings than just what you guys have seen on this. I've got a link below for every one of these knives, as well as a link to all the Kershaws available at Blade Ops, and they have a lot more in the Launch series as well. So that's it, guys. To all the people out there that told me to take a look at Kershaw, you're not looking at them enough, thank you. Because I'm really glad I did. Because I'm going to consider picking up a couple of these Kershaws. I really, really have enjoyed making this video and getting my hands on more Kershaws. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you have any other questions about Kershaw, be sure to drop them down in the comments below. And that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.